Hello, hello, my green skins, and I stole your intro once again. Ha 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 ha.
don't make me don't make me put you in the hole where we put all those shippers.
No, not the shipper's hole. Anything but that.
Yes, shippers hole. All right, so this is our big magnum opus. We're going to be talking about everything Married with Children, just because fuck you, Amazon Prime. Give it back to us Canadians, you sick son of a bitches, and stop censoring our fucking series. All
Yeah.
all streaming services. Fuck you on the horse you fucking stand on. I hate this shit. I shouldn't have to use a VPN to watch Married with Children. Eat a bunch of dicks. All right, anyway, I apologize for that angry outburst at Amazon Prime.
Dude, if it were
Oh,
me,
we are going to have words. We are going to have words, Amazon Prime. I don't mind buying your shipping services, but your streaming is I got plans for Amazon Prime. Anyway,
I mean, if it were me, I'd be more pissed off than you are. I don't like people taking away my shows that I love and telling me how to watch it or what not to watch or
yeah, well, I
banning
shouldn't have to.
episodes. I'm looking at
Yeah, I
you,
shouldn't.
fucking Simpsons, or as I call them now, the Simps.
Simpsons. Yeah, the Simps. Yeah, that's what they are, the Simps now. I agree. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. But this is a love letter. Now that the anger's out of the way, let's get to the love. This is a little retrospective of one of our favorite shows between the two of us. Probably one of the better shows. And actually, I will say now, I can say this without a shadow of doubt. Married with Children is the best Fox TV show ever. It used to go to The Simpsons, but they screwed it up. That used to go to Family Guy, they screwed it up. It used to go to that '70s show, but boy, did they screw that up. Now we have ourselves, even Malcolm in the Middle, I would say, in the end, really didn't end good. Like as much as Married with Children went on for fucking ever, it was still good enough to keep going and had
Yeah,
a lot of fun stuff, right?
that being said, it did have its low points, and you know which parts we're talking about, but it did get back on track.
No, you know what? Even its low points made sense. Like, unfortunately, due to a very tragic event, Katie Siegel had a bad situation happen, and so they had to do a dream sequence scenario, which I've heard a lot of people get very angry about. But once you know the story behind it, it's like, well, you know, that's amazing that the creators did that. And so, retrospectively, there are two story arcs. There are two series in Married of Children. There's the Rhodes series, and then there's the Darcy stuff. Because after anything after Rhodes is more of the zanier, crazier Married of Children.
I think we need to be make it clear who Rhodes and Jensen
Marcy,
are.
uh, Marcy Rhodes, although AKA Marcy Darcy, when she gets into later seasons, is a neighbor to the whole series starts with the pilot of these new neighbors. Marcy Rhodes and Steve Rhodes. These two individuals move next to them, and it's kind of that tit or tat for the series. You got yourself, you know,
This
you got like the
newlywed
more
who
richer, yeah,
and
yeah,
culturally better. They are higher class. They're just better people, and they're newlyweds. So the whole marriage thing is new to them, and they're embracing it. They're
yep,
enjoying it, and the Bundys, our stars, just see them as amateurs. It's like, yeah, it's good now, but wait, it's gonna get bad as time goes on.
yeah. And that's the thing about the Bundys. The Bundys is like what it's kind of like it's that almost toss up of rich. I think it's the same problem they had with, unfortunately, Fresh Prince of Bel Air, where it was a great, funny as fuck series. But if you look at the new thing that's coming out, oh wow, is it awful?
When you say the
Eh,
new thing, Are you talking about new shows in particular, or the
Yeah,
new?
there's a brand new Fresh Prince of Bel Air. It's just called
Oh
Bel
yes,
Air, and
yes.
it's a drama, and
I
it's
saw about
bad.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I have to admit, it did start out good for me, but certain things were brought up, and that just. I mean, it was
yeah. No,
interesting. It
it's
caught my
bad.
interest,
It's
but some
bad.
things came out and just, oh no, no, this is,
No, it's bad. It's
yeah.
bad. And it's funny when a comedy does it better. And that's the funny thing about Married with Children. I would say that this has more parallels than anything like out there in some ways. It becomes more as time goes on because we are slowly going into the regression of mankind, the final fall, I guess is the best way to put it. And we're at that point where people do silly, silly shit. And it's like, who thought we'd have a beer tax? Like, maybe there's hopefully there's an image that pops up of the beer tax information that just came out 2020, increasing the rate of alcohol. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. That was just fun to do that right when we're having issues. Awesome idea, everybody. Now we know why you didn't close certain stores. And then let's get to the next fun bit. Who would have thought that you'd have no ma'am exist in our society?
I never thought that would happen. There's a no
Uh-uh.
ma'am.
Yes, there are. No, not the actual. They're not called no ma'am, but they actually do exist. Like the red pill society, all that crap. There's all
Right.
that. It's just yeah. This who thought that would exist? Politics changing, politics like everything that literally Married with Children has pushed a story that progressively has become more and more real as time has gone on.
And it was all designed to be exaggerated.
It
Just
was,
yeah, like
and
there's
that's
no way
the
this could
funny thing.
happen, but something happened.
Yeah, and it did, and it's just funny. This makes me love the show more for how real it's still relevant today. How is this show made? What in the '90s?
Uh,
Relevant now?
I think it started in '87.
Well, '87. Think about that. It started in '87, went all the way up to the '90s, and it's like, how does a show that's like that's what almost 30 years old is still relevant now? Like that's some serious staying power. Mind you, it's staying power that was created thanks to what's going on now.
Oh yeah, I mean
This,
this
no,
show is the it's a time capsule, but it also predicted a lot. And what I find funny is how it was like some people, many, well, a good number of people found it offensive. But
yep.
now, imagine how people feel about it now.
Well, that's why I think it's slowly disappearing off the streaming services because it's still very popular, and it is one of those shows you could sit down. I'm watching it now. I've decided I'm restarting it for the review, so we could do so we could do kind of reviews of the show as a whole, what shows we like and stuff, and for this whole thing that we're doing for this month, and it's fun to watch. Like I could turn it on, and it's one of those shows. Again, it's when you got a good show, when you could turn on the background, do a load of dishes, come back, sit down, and watch it, and be like, yeah, I'm gonna watch it again, and you'll keep coming and sitting down like that. That's your best staying power. If you're gonna watch something and you can actually, it'll make you want to come back and watch it. Or like I said, I'll move my TV. I have a TV tray. I can move my TV over to the thing, and I'll watch it right from the TV. And I'll be like, yeah, okay, watch a little bit as I'm watching, doing dishes.
I think
It's
this show speaks to people, especially
yeah,
those who miss the good old days, in such a way that, yes, I rewatched classics like Everybody Loves Raymond, Seinfeld, even The
yeah, but they don't
Simpsons.
reach out like Married with Children. Yeah, I would say, other than The Simpsons at one point, I thought to the point The Simpsons was actually very relevant up to this point, like up to like I guess everyone says season 7, but I would say season 5 for me. Like there was a lot to it that had a lot of heart and human to this. And that's the thing about Married with Children. It has a lot of heart and human to it, and it's still worth watching now.
I agree. It's really funny, and what's funnier is that some jokes that might have gone over your head or you didn't think was that funny back in the day is even funnier now because now you're just looking at how crazy things are getting, this this show
Mm-hmm.
is like already mocking stuff before they happened.
It is. It really is mocking this stuff. There's a lot of times where I'll just kind of giggle. I'll be like, Jesus fuck, I would have never laughed at that before, but now I'm laughing at it now. And there are some great episodes, and there are some dark
Darks.
episodes too. Yeah, well, I would actually say the dark episode, the episodes where it kind of got that feeling where it's like Jesus hell, like that is dark. Like one of my favorite episodes is the episodes where Marcy where at the end of the episode they're like, okay kids, he's just a shoe salesman, he didn't steal the money. There's an episode where they're dealing with a money scenario. And at the end of the episode, you hear that the family's about, the Bundys were about to, the wife and the kids were about to jump off the Sears Tower. And I'm like, that's fucking dark. And that's dark. And it's like, and it ends with him going, the wife was heard to say, he sells shoes. He sells shoes.
All
And
told
that's
through a news report.
all
Off
told
screen.
through a news report, and that is fucking dark. That is so goddamn dark. It's
So,
awesome how dark that is. Another good one is like, I'm doing a couple representatives, and then we'll kind of get into a little more of this. But I just want to talk about a couple of the dark episodes. But yeah, this is Jesus fuck. Like one of the other episodes is the Santa parachute episode.
oof.
Their Christmas episode has Santa Claus falling, his parachute not opening and landing in the Bundy house, like
Yeah,
right on the
the
rooftop
whole
of the Bundy
thing.
house. Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, this show
That
has a
is
rule that nothing goes the Bundy's way, and everything
no,
they have to be
no,
miserable by
no,
the
no,
end.
no, no, no. I disagree with that. Bundys do win, but the whole idea of this show is no. There's quite a few
But
episodes.
they
That
don't
episode in
gain.
particular.
They don't gain nothing. They don't not in a way that enriches their lives or it enhances their
I,
lives.
I I would disagree to that too. They do gain and they do win. It's just the Bundys somehow. It's the fact is that even though life kicks them in the head, they keep going, and you gotta like that. I disagree with the whole gun. No, no, they get kicked in the head all the time, and even though the worst and the darkest episodes, like I said, the episode where they're starting to jump, they still get dust themselves off every day, and the next episode afterwards is just her, Peggy sitting there watching her TV shows, eating her bonbons, and that's a great idea that this show, like even though the worst episodes, which there are some bad episodes, one of my favorite episodes is like I said, the episode where they go to England is pretty funny, and they win in that one a lot, but in the end they end up having to go back home to their shitty lives.
That is where we'll kind of disagree. That episode or those episodes. It was a two-parter, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
tend to skip those because it's like I don't know.
No, those are all canon. Those are all canon, though. That's the thing. Like Poppies is another good episode of that, and like I love Poppies. I thought Poppies was great. Some of the two parters are really good, and I will admit their duds are pretty. There you have some duds. Again, one of the most tragic duds is the pregnancy stuff. But again, that we there's a valid reason why. I'd rather have people do the research to find out why, and it's pretty sad.
Yeah,
Another season a lot of people don't like is the seventh season.
and then the reason is in the name. 7.
Haven't. Yeah. Well, we won't spoil 7 for you. I disagree with Dark on this one, and we'll definitely have a disagreement on this one. I would say the
Oh, it's not like.
show's
Oh, I didn't say the show is bad per se. I was just.
no. I'm saying the dud seasons. You don't like the 7th season at all. I love the
No, no,
7th
I
season. I
don't
thought it
hate the
was a good
seventh
one.
season. I was just saying that one particular attribute of it went nowhere. And when it appeared on screen, it was like, oh, okay, we're focusing on this. Okay, okay, now get back to the main story. You know,
Yeah,
it was a distraction.
but that was the point of the seventh character and all the other stuff that exists. That worked for me for one reason and one reason only. It's funny because of how they treat it afterwards.
I don't know. To me, it felt like they didn't know what to do with this new character. So it's like that's why he was dropped off so quickly.
Mm, I think that's what made it great. I think that's what made it great because later seasons. Remember, you also weren't, you didn't watch it live. You're watching it as you're seeing it streaming. I watched it live. I didn't miss the series. I watched it every time, even when it had its late fucking. They had it on late at night. I still watch Married with Children.
Oh, I was watching it live back in the
But
day.
you're watching
Well, the later
reruns. You weren't
seasons.
watching.
Okay,
Yeah, but
obviously it's the show's older than me, so of course there would.
yeah,
By the time I started watching it, I got into reruns, but I did
yeah.
occasionally catch new episodes as they came out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's I guess we didn't touch on that, but yeah, that is
But
a good thing
that
then.
being said, it wasn't on frequently for me. I didn't always catch it, but when I did catch it, man, I would not change that channel for anything else.
And that's exactly right. And that's something to say. Like Married, I will say this: out of all the sitcoms that exist, there are episodes where I just want to turn them off. Kings of Queens, Everyone Loves Raymond, even Seinfeld episodes. I'm just like, ugh. And I'm not a big fan of Seinfeld, and you know how I feel about Friends. It's like, I don't like that show at all.
Oh,
And so,
to me, that's the worst of the popular '90s sitcoms.
yeah, but with Married with Children had been around since the '80s, and I was still paying attention to it. I guess another like Family Matters, kinda. I wasn't absolutely, but I lost interest in Family Matters, so that was a bad thing. By the time I started watching Family Matters again, it was like Urkel was turning everyone into Bruce Lee or something stupid like that. And it was just like silly.
Yeah,
all it really did was show that Joel White works out like a son of a bitch and is like fit as a freaking fiddle. And I just, you know, I lost interest. Married with Children, I bought the DVD set. And that tells you something. I rarely buy DVD sets for American television. It's kind of a toss up between like a few Canada shows and then occasionally old stuff like the A Team or a couple things like that. And then the last one is good old uh, good
I
old Rick and Morty and other stuff like that.
I plan to get the Knight Rider collection.
Yeah, I was going to get Airwolf, but I'm not going to waste my time because I can't get the whole series. So it's like, eh. And that's my biggest gripe about this. The old shows, like, don't take away episodes. I hate that. I like, okay, if it didn't, like, South Park's a good example of this. I bought the DVDs to have the complete series of South Park. I won't bother watching on other sites anymore. I won't watch stream service. And this is my biggest fight. And this is our little fight against the whole idea of streaming TV shows. Don't take away episodes. Who cares?
They do.
Epi- and that they shouldn't. These shows have been on and on and on and on and on, and it's insulting.
I mean,
It really is.
yeah, these I mean, one episode for Married with Children was actually banned.
Oh,
I
there's a couple episodes that are just not on the streaming services, even if you go to different places on VPN.
okay.
And
The first one I know about, I could be wrong, but correct me if I am, was that episode where Steve and Al go to the other town to find a discontinued bra for Peg.
yeah,
Was that one of them?
that is yeah, that was one of them that got kind of banned. You can actually watch that. I'm watching that on it's the complete show in its entirety. And that shouldn't like as much as again, that is a perverted thing, and that is kind of fun to watch him, because there's some funny moments in that scene, like the one scene where because they go to a burlesque like one of those adult stores to get her bra,
And
and
in that
there are some.
store, there's actually a strip club inside it. That is,
Well, yeah, it's a peep show, yeah. So it's funny. It's funny as fuck. Like you get a good laugh, you really do. It's just that one scene where it's like,
where there was this? You mean the scene where the ladies is asking Al for his opinion?
no. The scene where Pops is my favorite scene. Pops is my favorite scene because that just fucking.
Oh
Well,
my
excuse me
god!
for a second, and the guy walks out wearing nothing. Yeah, that is great. That is hysterical. And
He appeared to be a man's man,
I'm
but
not.
then that comes up. You see what he's
Oh,
wearing?
it's great. It's great. It's great. And that one got banned, and other stuff just got taken off the market. And I mean, on streaming services, you can't watch some of these episodes. Like some of these episodes are finally, like I think on Amazon, I think it's almost the entire show. But I've heard of like certain episodes being removed, and it's like, well, no, don't do that.
It's not the only
I've
one.
heard of
There was
X-Men Evolution. They did that to X-Men Evolution. They did that to Simpsons. They did that, and it's like
Seinfeld
these
even has a
shows.
banned episode. Believe it or not.
Well, yeah, I know, but these should never be removed. There should never be a removed episode of anything. Let's enjoy the shows in their entirety.
I mean,
And
who are they to tell us what's offensive or what's inoffensive, what's right and what's
yep,
wrong? Who the hell are they?
yeah,
Fuck
exactly,
you.
exactly. We are gonna watch our stuff, and that's exactly how it should be. And that's the attitude. Okay, I'll go back to Red Green, which you can still watch his stuff on YouTube. Thank you, Steve Smith and Rick Green, for doing that. Please, if you can we get a cheaper way of getting your DVDs? I don't know if they have that power. It's like $270 to get the entire show, and I'd love to just periodically buy. You can only get like a season here and a season there. I wish there was more.
So, what was the other banned episode?
Oh well, there isn't. I'm not going to bring it up because it's a banned episode. Anyway,
So,
anyway,
so what
we're
are
not going to
the?
bring up that bullshit because it's just silly.
Yeah, it is.
It's silly. It's silly. None of them should be banned.
Virtue
I
signaling
even like.
fucks up in the executive
Yeah,
seats.
yeah, no, it's literally someone having a cry heart. It's hysterical. Everything
We should make a
proves.
movie. Cry hard. The Gen Z
Oh,
story.
it already exists. And by the way, if you want to know what a lot of us feel about that, watch Superman Injustice. Watch Superman Injustice, and you'll understand how a lot of us feel. A lot of us people feel about this bull crap. And that's the thing. There's stuff that exists, and it shouldn't. It just stop it. Just stop taking this stuff and doing that. If they ever make another Married with Children series, I really hope they don't, because I think this show is perfect as it is. I wouldn't mind a digitally remastered version because, like even my DVDs don't exactly look that good compared to what they should.
Yeah, I think the show itself was very low budget, even from a even the cameras that they were using.
Oh yeah, and you can tell you really can tell from later seasons and stuff. Like mine almost look like VHS tapes, ports of Married with Children. But I've seen that happen with some of these old DVDs, like Conan the Barbarian, for example. The cartoon series has The cuts on there are awful because some of the stuff just doesn't exist anymore. I would love to see more of this stuff. I'd love to see more Married with Children. I actually miss the Man Show. I love the Man Show. The Man Show was great. It's gone now. I don't think you can find that anywhere. And that's the sad thing. It's like these are funny things. Like let's have a blast. Let's have a laugh. Like shit. It,
So maybe we should talk about the main character, Al Bundy, and what he represents to men from that era.
well, it's not even what he represents. All the characters have their own representation. Like if you think about it, when does Peggy not do a speech where you're like, yeah, that kind of makes sense on a certain way? All of them do, and Al especially. Al is what everyone would consider the dinosaur of the era, and I would say a lot of the stuff he says is rational.
Note we said a
Like,
lot, not all.
mm-hmm, yeah, but that's the thing. It is kind of funny. And a lot of people will look at Married with Children, look at Al Bundy, and think
It,
Al is like this joke character. Oh, he no, like there are times where you think to yourself, "Wow, he's right," and we shouldn't be thinking that.
I think his biggest problem is that he is being told how to behave from a society that doesn't want him to benefit.
Yeah, I know, and that's the red green mentality. This is mine. I bought it, and it's telling me it doesn't belong. That I can't do whatever I want with it. That's how it should work. This is mine. I bought it. Let me do whatever the fuck I want with it. And that's his mentality. And I like that mentality. That's the way it should be on some levels. It's like, hell, if I want to take apart my laptop and like add a bunch of stuff to it, I'm going to do that. If I'm going to, set this up and clean these devices, I'm going to do that. Like as long as I'm not blowing anything up or blowing anyone up with it or harming anybody, what should it matter to you?
It shouldn't.
If I want to amp, it shouldn't. And that's the way Married with Children, it's how he lives his life. When he builds his bathroom, for example, is a good example.
Oh, I love that
And
episode. I love when he built his man cave, which suddenly everyone wanted to use for one reason or another. So he had
yeah.
to destroy it at the end.
Oh, he still made another man cave. Like he still did some other stuff with it. But yeah, it was kind of funny that it became something. And then later seasons we got Bud living in the basement because he doesn't want to live upstairs anymore.
Oh yeah,
And I kind of get that mentality.
it's more
And
like
yeah,
he's unable to move out because he was screwed over by his family.
yeah. And there are a lot of scenes where they do get screwed over, but that's the thing. There's some scenes I find it more funny when they win because it is very satisfying. Like they'll have some bad episodes. Like another good episode, which is really funny, is the episode where they they go to find gold and they find out it's not gold. That's one of the Darcy episodes, and
Really?
that's part of the Darcy arc. Yeah, the Darcy seasons, and that is fucking funny. Holy hell, is that hysterical? And like I said, they win in the end, but really, was that a win? you know, like you kind of get that question mark when they win that way.
So let's talk about one of the more controversial aspects of the show.
Mhm.
Al's disdain for overweight women.
It's not a disdain. That's the thing about that.
No,
It's
it
the
is
way they
hatred.
treat him. It is hatred because of how he was treated. That
How
is
they
that is a
treat him.
product of the system. Yeah, how they treated him, so vice versa. He treated them bad back. It's always been that way, where one treated him that way, so he basically had this attitude about that. I would say his disdain is all created based off that.
about
that
over many encounters of
yeah,
very
people treating him like shit.
what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, Customers, very demanding customers, as he works in
Well,
the
yeah,
shoe store.
insulting customers. Oh, I'm a size 7. When you're not a size 7, you're clearly not a size 7. Oh, well, I've always been a size 7.
Look, lady, you're a
And then,
9. If I can accept you,
yeah,
why can't you?
yeah,
I
exactly.
I want a balloon. Her son. I want a balloon. You already got one.
Yeah, exactly. That's why that happens. This is someone that has to deal with people who treat him like shit, and they do treat him like shit. It's not a nice rapport from either side. I would say there's even an episode where that's actually dedicated to him saying, "If you wonder why I'm acting this way, well, this is why I'm acting this way." It's it is it all, and
Yeah,
it
this
revolves
show
even more.
this show pretty much um presented Karens before they were a thing.
It really does. And like one of the favorite like the library episode is another episode that I'd have to bring up at this point. Is that episode shows you exactly there was like no reason for this woman to hate Al Bundy. I don't know why I hate a child, she says. It's like, why the fuck do you hate a child? Like, he's never done anything to you. But I know it's wrong, but did I care? No. That's the type of person. This is the type of people Al had to deal with. So the attitude kicked off because of that.
Yeah, he was a simple guy. He just wanted to live life on his own terms. He just wanted to play sports, have a good time, not bother anyone, but someone
Then he,
always had to just ruin the fun to
yeah.
varying degrees. Begging.
Oh yeah, and it's always that. Yeah, well, that's the funny thing. That's one of my favorite. The fishing episode. Again, I'm going through the road season right now. I'm going to be going through I'm going to be jumping into through the Darcy, but there's so many examples in the road season of that happening. The period episode.
Ooh, very. I'm surprised that episode wasn't banned.
That episode, in every way, is kind of funny because, like I said, if he had left with his wife and like I said, oh, they got to tag along. Well, they hated the whole situation and had it like they did not like it. They had a rough, and the whole thing pissed them off. And it's just like, well, then like I love it because it's like, why did you go, and that type of mentality, and that's the thing, and it is really that's the way it is with the series. Is you can kind of, everything is a foil type thing. It does have an A B plot, I find usually. So it stays on the A B plot instead of like wondrous tales.
Hmm.
But it is kind of funny that way. Like, what else can we say about the series? The series itself was really needs a deeper lore than just our little like love letter retrospection of it.
Well, another thing that needs to be addressed, as it is a recurring theme throughout all the seasons, is his rivalry with Marcy. Marcy Rhodes, eventually Marcy Darcy.
Marcy is the most. I like Marcy because Marcy is exactly that high for third. Like she is a perfect foil and an antagonist for him. She
Someone I
doesn't
love to
become.
hate.
Well, I don't love to hate Marcy. I think Marcy has her A's and B's. I actually that's the thing. All the characters in the show are absolutely relatable. Even the ones that Marcy in later seasons gets a lot worse, but she's still relatable in some levels.
Maybe it has. Maybe her living with next door to Al made her more unbearable as a person.
No, she was already a problem.
Oh,
Like
she
she was
was.
already kind of yeah, she was. If you think about it, if you think about the way the show indicated her, there's some great wins for her too. One of my favorite wins is is the airplane episode I just finished watching actually recently, and that episode is hysterical because she's being treated like a piece of shit by her, by her, like, her freaking, her boss. So when she thinks she's going to die, she punches her boss's lights out, just clobbers him. And then she sits down and goes, "Now I can die." And the plane lands. And she's like, "Oh no, I'm going to be fired." And Steve turns and says to her, "No, dear, if you play your cards right, you can get a promotion." And he goes, What do you mean?" "Well, you know something that Mr. Anderson's wife, Mrs. Anderson, doesn't know." And that's Fluffy there. And he points to the girl that the guy has his arm draped around,
His
the 20
mistress.
something. Yeah, his mistress. And that's a great win. Like, that's a good win. That was actually great. It was funny, it was laughable, and it was relatable. This is the show that is so relatable on many levels. Like, even Peggy, as much as there's stuff about Peggy, like, Peggy does a lot of stuff that's just kind of nasty, but even she has a level of relatableness on some way. All the characters kind of do. I would say Kelly's another character that, she's treated like a dunce, but how often does she win in the end? She wins a lot. And
Yeah.
and when it all, like, can we actually say this? When it all boils down, they look after each other. And that's something that we miss. Like, we don't look after each other like these guys do. As much as they treat each other like shit, you don't mess with the Bundys. And respect, because of Marcy and these other people. They don't You don't mess with the Rhodes or the Darcys, because they look after each other. They look out for each other, and they actually give a shit. That's a great message in the end.
I agree, and I think
And
that
I think that's the best note to go off on, right? Like,
for
what do
all
you
the
think?
times Al has insulted or gave Peggy lip and his kids, that one
He loves them.
episode, like, they thought his remember that episode where his car was supposedly missing at this car wash, and
Yeah,
only it turns out that when they cleaned it, the dirt was removed, and therefore its true colors showed, and they didn't recognize it. And he
yeah.
was like, I had something in the trunk. Oh, it's probably your Biggins, which is the show's Playboy. It's
Yeah.
not
Oh, what they
Biggins.
talk.
Only it is a Biggins, but inside the Biggins is a family picture, which is what he
Yep.
wanted.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Can we go out on the fact that this was about family and it actually loves it? Well, we're gonna leave it at that there, everybody, and we're gonna go break down the whole series. First things up, we're gonna probably do Rhodes versus Darcy, who was better.
Oh man,
That's gonna be an interesting one.
that's that's no contest.
Yeah, I totally agree. Steve Rhodes wins.
Okay, now
Yeah.
you have
uh,
spoken blasphemy.
all right, so we're gonna have a good one with that one. It's gonna be a verse debate, Rhodes versus Darcy, and we're gonna do kind of like we'll do a whole love letter to the series. We're gonna keep doing more lovers. We're gonna review the Rhodes arc, and the Darcy arc, because it literally does change the second, the Vegas episode where she gets married to Darcy is literally when the series shifts.
Wait, was it Vegas? I thought it was a work event, like an
No, it was
office.
Vegas.
Okay.
It was Vegas, I believe. Yeah. And on that note, thank you, everybody. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.